is the JasmineBrand.com, and I have on the line with me MeToya Monroe. How are you doing?
Hi, Jasmine. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You're one of the cast members of Sorority Sisters, so I'm really excited to talk to you. But I wanted to ask you, just to start out, what were you doing in terms of your career before reality TV?
Actually, the same thing I'm doing now. I am a clinical project manager. I work for a contract research organization, and I manage clinical trials. So I've been working in that business now. It's going on 8 years.
Okay. Now, how was you actually casted for the show?
Interesting you should ask, because you'll be actually the first person to put this out there now that, some other things have come out. But interestingly enough, I got an email from my chapter. So the Deltas actually informed me of the casting for the show. And I still have that email from the organization. They sent it out to everybody in the chapter talking about a new show coming out. I probably could pull it up and tell you what it said. It's, are you, still active in your sorority? Would you like to, do you love your sorority to death and all that kind of thing? So I actually got it and learned about it from my own chapter.
Wow, that's interesting. So
it is. And nobody knows that yet. Well, they will, but nobody knows that yet. How I even found out about the show was from my own organization.
Okay, and you're in a graduate chapter, correct?
No. I pledged undergrad, Kappa Delta at West Georgia.
Okay, so your undergrad chapter sent a mass email to everyone that is in your chapter about the casting.
Yes, ma'am. Yep,
okay.
2 years ago, I think it was June 23rd, 2013. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you think that you were edited fairly?
I do. I don't. I'm the type of person. I'm real, Jack. I'm like, I don't like to blame editing and blame. You know what I mean? I don't personally. So I feel like I was edited the way that MeToya is, and I don't have anything bad to even say about it.
Okay. What surprised you, I guess, most about the entire process?
As far as filming, or just when it came out to the world?
I guess both parts, in terms of filming and once the show started airing.
Filming, I really just kind of had to get used to the, I guess, like the stop and go and the unexpected. The moments of, I think for me, because I've never done reality TV before, the thing that is, I think, in every reality television show is that element of surprise. So that part is you get the real reaction, so just say you come into a room and you think you're going to have a conversation with yourself and someone else, and then someone else comes in and you're like, wait, whoa. That part was, I guess, surprising to me. But okay. I adjusted to that. Yeah, I adjusted to that quickly.
Did the network tell you why they decided to abruptly end the show?
Did they tell me why they wanted to end it?
Or why they decided to? You know how they kind of just put all the remaining episodes,
Yeah.
Did they explain why that was, or?
Yeah, they did, and it really was because people were judging the book from the first chapter instead of reading the whole book, so they thought it would be best that they put the entire product out, while they could, which I appreciated that, instead of actually just canceling it, so to speak, where, you just don't see the rest of the story. I appreciated them for allowing our whole story to be seen, by the world. So they wanted it to be, they wanted the world to actually see the whole thing. And I think it was great, for everyone to actually see it all together. And I had people, Deltas and and other people in my inbox and on Twitter apologizing, saying, I'm really sorry. I had a ill feel about this from the first episode, but after seeing the whole show, I just wanted to apologize to you.
Okay, gotcha. Now, did VH1 say, it was because of the controversy, or was it because of the advertisers pulling out, or was it the ratings? Did they get specific with why they did that?
No, it wasn't specific. I think it was more so the backlash that they wanted people to see the whole product, because we didn't have a problem with the ratings. I mean, everybody knows that right now, but the ratings was never an issue. So with the backlash, that was their way of, wanting to show the world, this is what we've done. This is the final product. Look, it really isn't as bad as you're all thinking.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Now was Mona Scott Young involved in the show?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay, because I think there were conflicting reports as to whether she was one of the EPs or not. Okay, thanks for clearing that up. Were you?
She was never there.
Okay. Gotcha. Were you surprised at the backlash about the show?
Yes, I was, to the extent of when it first, the first episode, and it was Attackville, instead of it being received or, like any other show of, okay, we're going to start out with the problem, like most shows do. You're going to see the clash in the beginning and see how you work through that through the rest of the shows. It was immediate attack. And I was shocked by that. I particularly, on my Instagram, I don't do negativity. I don't do nobody talking about nobody, so I'm quick to block and delete. I do read every comment, and I feel like if you want to be negative, do it elsewhere. Just don't bring it to me, because for me, this is my choice, and forget what you're trying to assume and presume from just one episode. So that, I think that was a shocking part, just after the first episode, seeing the attack go,
What do you think? What do you think the public's biggest issue was with the show for the folks that didn't care for the show? What do you think their issue was?
The misconception of representing an organization on a show because of a name, or maybe that's what made them think that we were representing an organization. But what people fail to realize is that is the one thing that brought us all together. What else did we have in common? Yes, we all are business owners, but how else would we meet? I understand the storyline of this, the sorority sisters backdrop. It is bringing women together, and as sorors, you meet new sorors all the time, so you open them with welcome, arms. And then you find other ways to meet other people, but that was the one thing that we all shared and we had in common. However, the world, so to speak, took it as, oh, we're up here representing, and, that's not what it was.
Okay. One of the unfortunate situations about the show was that I heard you all received death threats. Is that true?
That is very true, yes.
And were these from other Greeks or other Deltas, or?
Some of them were other Greeks. Believe it or not, I've seen all kinds of threats. They were from Greeks, mostly they were Greeks, because people who are non-Greek, they didn't really get why, people were so upset. But it was from Greeks, and I would see, people telling me to get back in the cut. And I'm like, but you're part of a non-hazing organization, but you want me to get in the cut? What's the cut? That's what I really wanted to say, but I'm very, very, I pick my battles, and I definitely wasn't about to pick those. So I just screenshot as I needed to, just in case I needed it for future reference, and, move on from there. But yes, that is true. Shanna got, I think, the worst, but yeah.
I'm sorry. Say that again?
I was saying Shanna, she got it, I believe, the worst out of all of us, as far as specific, you meet me here, if you don't meet me here kind of thing. It was crazy.
Okay.
It really was. And sad.
Okay. Before joining the show, or before you guys started filming, did you go back to your chapter and say, hey, did you alert them and say, hey, I'm doing this show, or did you contact nationals or headquarters and say, hey?
I didn't contact nationals or headquarters. I did inform a few members of my chapter besides my line sisters that I was doing the show. A few of them, believe it or not, said that they considered it, but I'm sure they'll never tell you guys that or the public that they considered it, but, we changed our mind. I asked a few of them. There were particular times where, I was to ask and reach out to my own sorors about particular themes, and most of them was like they declined. There were a few that said they were open to it, but we never, they never did anything. But
okay, were you surprised that you were expelled?
Not really. Once I got my initial letter that said, and they were going to investigate my behavior, I just knew right then, okay, I know what this is about, because I still and will always feel like my behavior did not warrant me to be expelled from Delta Sigma Theta. I feel like I represented myself and my organization well. I showed what sisterhood is. I showed about bringing sorors together in spite of. I showed about having your sorors back, what that means. I showed how to, get through life as a single mother, love and hurt, things that women actually experience on a daily basis. So I still don't, and I never will feel like I did anything to disgrace or embarrass my organization.
Okay. Do you feel like anyone else on the show may have exuded behavior that was kind of a little bit more questionable than you? Because you were a little mild-mannered.
Yeah, I was mild-mannered, but I'll only speak for myself. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on what anybody else did on the show.
Okay. Do you have any plans to try and fight their decision?
To be honest with you, no, and that's because I tend to look at things a lot differently, Jasmine, and it's more so of, God knew this would happen before it did, and I know that everything happens for a reason, and He had this happen for a reason. What that is, I don't know, but I always trust in Him. I know I've been blessed. Because of that, this opportunity, I still look at it as an opportunity. It was a blessing to open up eyes and doors to many other things, whether it's people who are not Greek to see things or people who are Greek to see things, but in the end, I don't think me trying to fight it and try to fight, something that I have always loved and shown love for. And like I said on the dialogue, going on the Tyra Banks show, I didn't have to tell her I was a Delta, but I did it because I love being a Delta,
right.
And that's why I did the show. I love being a Delta. So when they were like, yeah, we're casting, girls who love their organization, and will do anything for their organization, of course. I'm like, yes, me, pick me, because I love Delta. So for an organization to give me that response, to just expel me, and to be honest with you, we just got the letter yesterday. So we found out when everybody else found out, which was through social media. So for that to happen, I don't think it's necessary for me to fight to be a part of that. I just don't.
Do you still consider yourself a Delta? I feel like it's still kind of fresh. Do you still feel like a Delta?
I feel like I will always have that part of me. And you can't take any of that away. You can't take away my process. You can't take away things that I've learned. You can't take away the fact that I've, served as a voting delegate in conventions and gone to I am the business side. I was the vice president of my chapter. So you can't take those things away. Of course, I'm going to feel always like that's a part of me. It is a part of my life and a part of my story. But I'm always MeToya first.
Gotcha.
So.
What's your I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said, yep. I'm sorry, Jasmine.
You're fine. I'm sorry. What's your relationship now like with your line sisters or I guess, sorors in your chapter? How has it been since they learned about this? I guess since they learned about you being expelled.
I'm about to be really real with you. You ready?
I'm scared.
Now it's been absolutely horrific. It's been very
with your line sisters or your chapter sorors?
it's really been the chapter sorors. My line sisters, I have a few that reached out. The other ones remain silent, and to me, silence is still an answer, so, but the sad part was when the show came out, we have a group me, which I'm sure a lot of people have that. So what saddened me was initially talk about me. They were just talking about me in the group me. Now, mind you, I guess they didn't realize I was included in the group me at that time, so I didn't speak up because, it's like you want to see how people really feel. If I wasn't here and you didn't know I was here, let me see what you really have to say about me. Okay. And then the sad part is that once they found out that I was included, none of them at the time said, so MeToya, how do you feel? Or MeToya, why did you do this? Or MeToya, whatever. It's all talk around me. And then once they found out I was included, they removed me. But the conversation kept going. And this is the one thing that I don't like. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're a Delta, an AK, a Zeta, or whatever. It's still a bunch of women. It's a bunch of women, and believe it or not, women can be messy. Women talk about people, and I think people don't want to say those things, but, you have to take it away. Don't just say, oh, they're a Delta and they should behave a certain way. No, they're still women. And because, for whatever the reason, if they didn't agree or whatever, to remove me and never approach me at all, never call me, never. I had like 2 people from the chapter reach out to me directly. Everybody else just talks behind my back in the group text. And I feel like that's very unsisterly. That to me is unsisterly. If I got a problem with my sister, which I actually am an only child, but if I have a problem with my sister, I'm going to fuss you out in your face, talk to you directly, and, cry about it, fight about it, and then we'll talk the next day or hash it out. I feel like sisters really work through things with you, whether they agree with you or not. But they don't talk about you behind your back. Those are not real sisters to me.
Okay. What is the biggest misconception you think people have about you from seeing you on the show?
I haven't had that many people. I guess that I did it for the money. That, people, or that I needed Delta to be who I am. Just to see the comments that before I delete them, of course, to say, was it worth it? And, was it worth the money or the 15 minutes of fame? I didn't do it for fame. I darn sure didn't do it for money because I'm not trying to brag, but I'm a project manager for in the clinical field. You can look that up and see how much money I make. But it had nothing to do with that at all. I really did it for inspiration, and I told my story. I told about using your child as a pawn, not to do that. I showed things of having someone's back and what it really means to be a friend, So I haven't had too many people say anything about, my character because I feel like it shows through. I've had a lot of people, show me love in the sense of, I love your spirit, MeToya. You're a really sweet person. And, I'm like that in real life. I'm very supportive. I love to help out people. I actually try to respond to everybody. I'll talk to anybody. You don't have to be no big wig for me to talk to you. You can be just starting out. I'm just not like that. I'm real down to earth, and I think that showed through even on the television screen. Okay.
Has the show or the Delta kind of situation, has it affected your daughter at all?
No. She's very far removed from that, and I do that on purpose. Yeah, but her dad and I, we keep it away from her on purpose. I mean, she doesn't need to know about it, and nor honestly, I don't feel like she would care. She's 11 years old. She's not worried about that. Look, I'm like, you need to worry about your schoolwork and practice and
right.
Some other things. So no, it hasn't affected her at all. She enjoys seeing herself on TV and her mommy.
Yeah.
Internet.
Speaking of which, has the relationship status changed between you and your child's father? Is it the same, or because I was looking at episode, I was looking at the birthday party episode the other day, and I was like, oh, okay. So How is that now? Was it awkward? Is it the same? What's going on?
No, it's still the same. Nick and I will always be the best of friends. We're not together. I think we both have realized too that the way we have it now is the best that it's gonna get, and we really don't need to go backwards. And we both have issues with going backwards to like exes and stuff. People will be like, we broke up, but now we're back together. Like we've never been those type of people to be like, oh, they broke up, now they back together. I mean, I tried it, to see how he would feel, but no, we're good. We're in a good space. I think he's moved on, and I'm still waiting for somebody to come along, scoop me up,
Okay. I'm sure you'll be fine. So the show's over now. How do you plan to take advantage of the platform?
Honestly, just keep my name out there and try to do whatever I can around town. And I was gonna say, like I was talking about my inbox and people from different areas, people who are just starting up and just want to invite me out to things, I'm gonna go and show support and just keep my name out there that way. People have come to me for relationship advice, told me they can relate to me, because of my story. I love to mentor young girls especially and help them with their self-esteem, which is why a lot of times you may see me on Instagram always say, thank you, beautiful, and thank you, gorgeous. And it's because I feel like, I know as a woman, I know about insecurities, and we all have them. And I think for people to know that, they're beautiful no matter what, I just want to encourage that. So I want to use the platform as, to propel my business, my cupcake business, because I did start it from my daughter, and it's my side hustle, but also to really inspire young girls and to keep that going and really keep the support going for other people in their businesses, because I never hate on nobody. People hit me up like, can you support me here? Can you tweet this? And I tweet it. And, I show love and support to everybody. I don't care who you are. I don't have to know you, but I'm there. And that's what I want to use it for.
Okay. Before I let you go, just a few general life questions. What is your biggest fear?
I have a weird biggest fear.
Okay.
My biggest fear, and I know it's probably sad, is to lose my mom. I can't. I know that's weird, but I just can never fathom, and I get emotional even when I think about it now. Oh my God! But she's like my backbone. Like I love her to death. Like I really don't know how I'm gonna function in life if God sees fit for her to leave before I do. I'm fearful of losing her. I'm not fearful of death necessarily, but definitely of not having her in my life, because she's helped me through so much. Even this process, girl, like this. Girl, forget them. And, she's been my outer strength, from the inner strength I've had. She's been like my outer strength, like that, conscious to be like, girl, you good.
Well, you know what? I've asked this question a gazillion times, and I think this is the first time someone said that. And I feel like that's probably my biggest fear too. Yeah, and I feel like that's my biggest fear too. Yeah. I think that's my biggest fear too. I never thought about it, but I think yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like everything else is minute compared to that. It's like once you lose that, it's like a part of you is gone.
Right. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. Okay,
yeah.
What's your biggest vice?
My biggest what?
Vice.
Let me see. What? I don't know. What is it that I can't live without?
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
You don't have one. Okay, that's fine. When is the last time you got into a physical fight?
Girl. Let me think. Probably when I was in like elementary school or something. Did I even get in a fight though?
That's a fight in elementary school.
Yeah, you might as well say grade school, girl, because I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Okay. Last question. What lesson in life took you the longest to learn?
How to love myself. And that's just real talk. Like, I've been in some really horrible relationships, not like physical abuse, but horrible to me because I always get heartbroken. And I give so much that I feel taken advantage of, because I don't know. It's just being in a relationship, I realized that I have to learn how to love me and what not to accept and not to beg a dude to be with me. Like, well, no, I did this and I've been here for you and done this. And I had to realize, like, nah, I deserve better than that, and I shouldn't have to beg anybody to be with me.
Okay, fair. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you wanted to clear up or address?
No, the biggest thing was just to let everybody know really how you even found out about this show, because I think that's really going to really shock people. Like, dang, she found out from her own chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope to hear or see from you, something on doing something else soon.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, look out. I'm going to do something. I definitely keep my contacts. I don't like to burn bridges with anybody, so hopefully something soon will happen. And to answer your question before, I don't have I can't think of a vice. I don't have anything bad habit really that I like to do.
well, good for you. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Keep me posted on any updates.
Thank you, Jasmine. I really enjoyed talking to you, too.